consulting the book right now.
Yeah, I was looking it over during the week. It kind of these rules in these games. I mean, the set of fantasy games that I talk about a lot, they vary extremely greatly in their magic rules. That's their biggest, most obvious difference. But the the points of improvement, the ways to improve, are also extremely complex or hidden or tricky. Um,
That's yeah.
so it's on page 159, and it's pretty nuanced. I mean, it's actually really complicated. First of all, it's got the usual thing where you have to tell us how good we are at playing. Um, and then whether you think we players gain achievements by playing smart, avoiding unnecessary fights, not taking unnecessary risks, and staying focused on the goal of the adventure. Which sounds nice, except it usually means do what the GM says and get to his goddamn preparation and stop screwing around.
And skill use, right? You get like you can accumulate points for using your skill.
Right, but
skills.
But except that you don't track them like you do in Legendary Lives or RuneQuest. It's just the GM decides whether you used your skills properly or enough through the session. And if so, then you get, and it doesn't matter if you succeed or not, which is kind of nice. And then, yes, can be awarded during and should be awarded at the end of each gaming session. You can award points at any time during an adventure, and a player can immediately use those points, which is kind of interesting. However, you're supposed to be able to see into the future and not give away more than you would by the end of the session. However that may be. That's interesting. You get double what you're given. Okay, you give me like 500 points. I put 500 in skills and 500 in attributes.
Right.
I don't have to split the points. I get that amount of points, one for attributes and again for skills.
But you can't. But then you can't transfer them between
the two.
Right?
I mean, that's fine.
Right.
But still, I mean, it's a doubling, of what you might think. Usually, you get X points, and then you have to choose where you're going to put between the two. By the way, here you go, Scott. The Darkurthe Master needs to keep excellent records of how many points each of his players receives and how many each spends on skill levels and attribute points. So get to it.
Okay. I'm on it.
Now, the good news is that they're fairly pricey. Then again, who knows? Let's see. You want to do this now?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think we should. I mean, this is session 3, right?
Yeah, might as well. Yeah. So, if you were to do this in front of our faces while we glare at you, you would look at like that first session for me and decide how well I conducted myself during the game. Was I prepared, cooperative, and enthusiastic? And funny, total points 100. Excellent is 90. Well, how do I get from 90 to 100? Right? Is that like plus bribe? Excellent plus bribe. Now I get 100. I mean, is that how it works?
I mean, I was also just looking at the level cost, and
right.
If we had 600 each, that gives us a little bit more to play with because if we have 600 each,
then we get to be third level.
If we want,
let's do it. Right. Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't even look at the chart yet. That's
right. Or if you wanted to take something to level 2 and something to level 1, you could do that. Or 600 would give you a kind of a little bit more to play with.
600 is definitely what you need because what I have in store. It's right. Probably better for y'all to. And this is a big deal, y'all. Encountered a snake, you're in a underground
Oh, we did all. We used skills all over the place and everything. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, we took forever on that. Sorry about that, Scott. We made you suffer.
No, no worries. It's a learning experience for me too. I mean, this is kind of interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for future reference, what page were we looking at that had the?
Dude, I skipped around so many times to get through all that. There's like 3 or
Yeah.
4 different places I had to consult to figure my way through that. So
I don't have
there's
enough fingers.
no way I can help you on that one.
Let's see. It's in here. Well, anyway, we got that taken care of. I have a question. That this is something that I can't remember if we brought this up at all in the last session or even the first session. Was the question about travel in the swamp? Being that it's like we're talking very wet. Some places are, long distances of, pretty shallow water, but it would be easier with like a boat or something like that. Is that something that, I know that your character will be familiar with the borderlands, but not necessarily the Fen.
Mm-hmm. Well,
did
we talked with, we picked up the new guy, and we're dealing with a guy who's lived there all this time.
Right. Throxon, I think was.
Yeah, we picked up Throxon, and then we also talked to the wizard or the scholar dude lives out there. So the question is whether they would have said, you need a boat. And I'm thinking one of these like small flat bottomed boats that's easy to drag if you need to.
Yeah.
Practically a sled, really. Half a sled, half a boat. A lot of the time we actually wouldn't be sitting in it. We would be waiting, but we'd just be carrying stuff, on it.
Right. That's kind of what I thought. And I was just kind of curious. I was thinking about some things. I was kind of thinking ahead a little bit because I had some ideas pop in my head. I've drawn a map and things.
Doesn't seem too terrible to to assume we acquired that along the way, unless you say we can't.
Well, in this situation, I'll say no, just simply because at this point we haven't encountered any of the really vast areas. It's just it's very hilly and wet, kind of like I'm thinking Finland,
right?
Marsh, in some point right through here, but it might change.
I got you. I think too, it's sort of fun that we are operating on divine mandate here, and obviously we have been led to these underground ruins, and so it's not like we have to worry about wandering around directionless. That's how I see it.
Okay, yeah, I get it. Yeah, so, you will be provided for, right? Okay. Well, I have a map that I have drawn for the whole Fen. Would you want me to just give you pieces of it as we go, after, kind of representing your mapping out everything, or?
Yeah.
It's really big, and this may have been one of the reasons why my computer was acting up, because it's a pretty big file. I didn't realize what I was doing when I was drawing this huge thing. So, there's nothing to see right now, but I just kind of had that up. I'm closing everything up.
Let's handle that a little bit later. I bet we can handle it verbally. I'd love to see it eventually, or parts of it, but we don't have to force you through wrangling graphics programs and uploads and sharing and all that crap right now.
Thank you. There is one that I'm pulling up now. Okay, so we last time we were together, we all were. It was the night was here. We were gonna have a just like a little chat, fireside chat. Where were we located when we were doing this? I can't remember.
There is the ruins of the old structure, like the top of that tower, right?
That's right.
So I'm envisioning kind of fairly unclean leftovers of old fortress walls and stuff like that, or roofs of buildings, or anything like that, ancient plazas or whatever. And it's all kind of overgrown, but it's structured enough so that we've got like maybe low walls that we can sleep up against or look over and stuff like that. And is relatively dry because it's somewhat still architectural rather than bare ground. So that's kind of what I had in mind, and that's why I said, hey, let's stay here. This is way more defensible than anywhere else we're going to find around here, and we want to go down there tomorrow morning. So, we have trail mix.
Okay.
We'll do fine. Does that make sense, Scott, with what you had described?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, the structure that you are at, okay, where the huge tree that had fallen was blocking this, where you're at now. But when you fell into the pit, you came down on a level, we'll say, some pretty deep down. Now, when you came back out of this structure, you came up stairs, quite a few stairs to get to the top. Of course, you could see light coming through, but it's really all that you see once you're out of the structure and in daylight. You just see basically just like what would be like a defensive platform on like a keep. Mm-hmm. And that is all that's kind of coming up out of the water, the muck and the slime and everything. But where you're at right now, it's not like water. It's not even ankle deep. It's just kind of mossy and overgrown vines. But
so
that's pretty much
our
right.
Poor henchmen had to slog through all that shit to get over here from where they were. So
yes.
Okay. All right. Well, good enough. Yeah, I think that we'll keep watch. What do you think, Robbie?
Yeah, I mean, that sounds good. And then we can also, if something really nasty was coming, we could always like go down the stairs, right? We could kind of camp out up here, and then
Well, you've taken care of what was down there, at least what you know of.
Exactly. So, I mean, better than nothing. All right, so that's what we'll do, Scott. We're gonna sleep the night there.
You've had a pretty big day, so that's probably not going to be a problem. Okay. So now, throughout the night, we're not going to go through the whole who's sleeping, who's not sleeping. I'm going to just kind of give you a little bit of the detail here. Like, I'm sleeping in a swamp and there's bugs climbing on me. You're probably used to that. This is more like you've got strange nightmares. And I'm just going to go down the list of them instead of just saying who has what. Dreams of people drowning, like massive amounts of people drowning, like hundreds. People hanging from the trees. People burning alive, just burning and screaming, and the earth swallowing people whole, just falling. Of course, that could be from falling down into the quagmire, but they are definitely concerning. Could it be just the evil energy of the swamp? It's anyone's guess, but it's just a thing I wanted to let you know about. The next morning, though, the fog is really thick. This is typical. So you mentioned that you want to traverse down into the structure. Okay.
I think Pixie will, like, at the next morning, if I could just try to acquire a channeling ability, like when it's kind of quiet, if I could like meditate a little bit and just see if I can get. I tried last time for the gate ability, just so that if I can.
So this is not about casting it. This is about having it.
This is just about so I don't suffer. Otherwise, I would have if I don't acquire a channeling ability, I have an extra -5 penalty if I try to use it. But this is once a day I can try to acquire a new ability.
Yes, please go for it. That would be very handy. Gate would be very useful in this situation.